Hey peoples, it's been a minute, but not too much of a minute this time. I was actually coming on because I had a discussion with my line sister yesterday at our Sunday Fun Day outings, and it sparked me to kind of, I guess, just verbalize some of the things that I see going on or I'm experiencing even in my own life surrounding dating in 2023. So she asked me, was I dating? And of course I'm not. So it's kind of like, I kind of have taken the stance that it doesn't really make sense to play a game that I'm not privy to, that I have no real stake in, because I just don't feel the need to attach myself to someone where I have to be accountable to them on a day-to-day, or make sure I'm fulfilling their needs. And I'm not in this subservient mindset anymore of wanting to do that, so I just don't pursue any type of dating. But I do find people that pique my interest every now and then, or that may want to be a friend and want to hang out or something like that, and I'm cool with that sometimes. If I feel like it's too romantic and it's not something I look at them as being romantic in, I don't entertain it. But she asked anyway, and I was just like, no. She's like, why? Like, why aren't you dating? And da da da. And I'm just thinking, in my mind, I can't really explain all that to her. Like, hey, I'm just not in a space where I want to be dealing with someone on a day-to-day. So, no. But she said, you got to put yourself out there, and that type of thing. And I understand that. Like, I get it. But the way these people are moving, I can't even relate to. Like, it's so above my head and my logic to even entertain it. It's kind of like I would be playing myself. Like, I would just literally be out here just being fake and fake interested too. So I told her about an experience with one of my other line sisters that gave my number to one of her friends, I guess, longtime friends, I guess, at her son's graduation party. And she said she told him in the beginning, hey, don't come approaching her crazy, because that's just not what she on. Come correct, and if you can't come correct, then you don't need to be trying to ask for her number. So the red flag to me was that he didn't even ask me for the number, and I was at the party with him. He waited till I left to ask her. So I was already kind of like, wow, you didn't even have the guts to come talk to me directly. Even though I had a couple conversations with him. He was one of the caterers, and he was serving us the food. So I had conversations with him. I went to him twice to, get another plate of food, me being greedy. But he didn't ask me, so that was weird that he would circumvent and go to my line sister and ask her for my number. And I'm glad that she in turn came to me first and said, hey, I know you're not really trying to talk to nobody, but he's smitten, he wants to talk to you, blah blah blah. Do you want to give him your number? And I'm thinking, well, I guess he seems cool. If nothing else, I know he knows how to cook. So okay, give me the scoop on him, because this is your friend. Like, how I am. Like, I'm very selective. So she was like, yeah, this and this. And she said a couple things about his situation that might have been a bit of a red flag to me, in regards to he did have a child, and I guess the child wasn't with him, and the baby mother was on bad terms, and the child was rather young. I think he was like 3 or 4. So that automatically was like, no, I don't know if I want you to give me my number, because I don't want to be inserting myself into these dynamics with these baby mothers that are jaded still and upset, and then they're going to direct that anger to me somehow. I just choose not to get into that. But nevertheless, she was just really like, no, he's a really nice guy, blah, blah, blah. He's not like that. And I don't know what happened, but maybe you can find out what happened on your own, from him directly, because she didn't know. Fair enough. Chantrice, stop being so hard. check and see. Told her she can give me my number on the premise that he did not text me first. Call. Because I'm just not of the opinion that being pen pals with someone is a good foundation for an actual relationship. Usually it's not. We're not in prison. Like, you should not be over here texting every 5 seconds trying to get to know someone. I'm not about to be texting paragraphs back and forth with people about how my day is, what I'm doing, things about me. It just does not make sense to me. I'd rather you pick up a phone and talk to me so I can gauge your energy. I can understand your sarcasm, your wit, your humor, your intellect, even if you can flow in a conversation. A relationship is done in person, not via text or via email formatting or social media format. That's not a relationship. So if I'm going to get to know you and your personality, I'd rather you call. So I told her to let him know, call me. And she said she would. Sure enough, the very next morning, I get a text from you know who. And he's like, hey, can you, I know your line sister said not to call, not to text you. So I'm just giving you the heads up that I'm going to be giving you a call soon. I'm looking forward to talk to you. Great. Good thing. Because I really thought that was going to go left. As sometimes it does. And then I can automatically weed out this person as not a viable candidate. So he calls like maybe 20 minutes later. I had a short conversation with him about basic stuff. And he in turn said he wanted to meet in person. Like 2 days later, I think, is when he was trying to arrange. But it was with his bowling team or something. And they were having a tournament or some sort that day. But I had an appointment that was already scheduled for that. So I declined it. But I said, hey, we can do it the very next day. And then we can, meet up and actually have an actual conversation one-on-one. Because who's finna be meeting up with somebody and they friends or their bowling mates and I don't even know you yet? Like, I'm not gonna be and am I supposed to be just arm candy for you to take around them to showboat who you're talking to? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't sound like a real date. So I was like, nah, got an appointment anyway. Let's not do that. Let's go on. So either way, the next day came and went. I had another little mini conversation with him, but all throughout these maybe 3 or 4 conversations I had it with him via phone, no real conversation skills. Mind you, this man is about 3 or 4 years older than me. So I'm thinking he should be very much mature and know how to have a conversation. It was very much lacking. And then the way that he talked was like in between his, catering sessions that he was doing. So I guess he was just talking to me while he's delivering food and doing events for other people. It was very non-personal and very like, oh, I'm just fitting this in my schedule, blah, 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 blah. It didn't seem like he was very much interested in a way. So it kind of put me off. Needless to say, he never scheduled an actual date. So, and then after, I guess I didn't respond enough to some of the texts that he did try to send to initiate longer conversations, I was like, okay, yeah, this is not a compatible thing. And then he just didn't text me anymore. I guess he sent me a text asking how my day was or something in the middle of the day on like a Thursday. Needless to say, I didn't respond. I was like, you can call me later and we can talk. He never called. And then the very next day, I didn't hear from him at all. So I was like, yep, I guess that was gone. That was it. That was the duration of that short-lived interaction. It was weird, but I'm like, why would he even ask her for my number if he doesn't know how to have conversations or really state his intentions, state why he even wanted my number with me? Guys are a little weird out here. They're just a little weird. So it always baffles me how people are getting entangled in these long situationships when there's nothing there to begin with. Like, they're literally not trying to make you a girlfriend or telling you what they really want to do. with your presence other than possibly insinuating sex in some sort of way. It's very weird. But so either way, I was telling my line sister about that and how it just didn't make sense. And she was like, well, Chantrice, you gotta be, that's how things are these days. Like, you're supposed to text like all the time. Like, if someone asks for your number, you're automatically in this understanding that I want to hear from you in the morning, I want to hear from you during the day, I want to hear from you at night. Like, that's what we're doing. We're texting, we're not calling. She's like, guys don't call. I'm like, what? Since when? So you're just supposed to know how this person operates, how they think, how they talk and text and all that, off of what? No real in-person interactions, because apparently people don't go on dates. They just text and I guess link up. And then she proceeds to tell me about, I guess, one of her guys that she talked to, and how they just text. They met via, I guess, social media of some sort or whatever, and they just text the whole time. And he was in Dallas, moving to Houston, and I guess they were gonna eventually meet up, but that's all they did was text. And I'm thinking, that's not a relationship. What is going on out here? I don't get the dynamics out here at all. It's so weird. It's so immature and very juvenile-ish in a way. I feel like this is not how adults conduct themselves. I guess she said once they did meet up, it was at his house after hours because his child was asleep. It's a no for me. I just, listen, if you can't even, after all that texting, the first encounter is going to be me coming to your house after your child get put down, go to sleep. That's how y'all moving out here? I'm not missing not a thing. Not a thing. This is insane. And so I guess she told me I need to be more open to that. So I said all of that to really get to the point of the codependency is very real out here. There is no way that someone can, off the street, ask for your number, you don't know them, and then once they get your number, they think they should have unregulated access to you all day, every day, and if you don't respond in a good enough time frame or in a pleasant enough, then I guess you're not eligible to be in a situationship with them. Like, because that's what it seems like. You do all of that to do what? Just be invited to their house to have sex? This is what we're doing out here. This is dating. That's not dating. And you don't get automatic access to someone just because you have their number. Social media has gotten people completely brainwashed. These smartphones have people completely too accessible to people who may or may not even deserve to have that type of accessibility. You know how many psychos get access to knowing what you do, how you do it, when you do it, where you're doing it, all day, your whole schedule. All somebody got to do is say they interested in you, get your number, and then you're over here giving your whole day-to-day breakdown of how you move and when you move. What? Like, I'm just not understanding that. I would think that access goes for an actual boyfriend or an actual husband, not someone who's just getting to know you and you don't know them from a can of paint. They could be crazy, they could be psychotic. This isn't making sense. It's not making sense. You should be texting and calling, calling more than texting in the beginning in order for you to decide if this person is compatible with you. If you guys are moving in the same direction, have the same goals. Why do I have a whole life. You just dropped out of nowhere into it. And now I'm supposed to move everything in my life over because you text me all day and I'm supposed to be available to have my phone in my hand to text you back and forth. First of all, people work. When do you work? Like, are you not supposed to work? Are you not allowed to work? Is your work interfering with you in your response time to their text messages, making you a bad person all of a sudden? Like, no. What if I'm out working out? Like, I work out a lot. So what if I'm out working out? I'm not holding my phone in my hand. Usually if I'm running, I have an armband. My phone is connected to my arm. I'm not about to unstrap it, take it out, do this in the heat, in sweat, no. Sweat dripping from my eyes, no. Like, if I'm doing weights, I'm not about to be dropping weights to come sit. You're not interrupting my sessions, okay? This is ridiculous. People really feel like they're supposed to have unmitigated access to you the moment they get your number, and you're supposed to respond at the drop of a dime. I'm sorry. I can be interested in you, but I also have my own life. Interdependence needs to be communicated way more out here in these days. This is ridiculous. If you can't form a thought by yourself without texting somebody that you're quote unquote interested in, how were you getting by before that person came in your life? How? Because you can't need my opinion on everything, anything, and all things, and you just met me. My words mean that much already? Like, I'm so confused with how, and this is why I opt out. I just don't even engage. If I meet someone in a genuine, natural environment and we hit it off and we have a good conversation in person, great. Let's do that. We can extend that some more. But making myself available on apps, making myself available to people who I already know are probably not going to be on the same mindset as me or the same even thought processes that I have, it's going to be a no. I'm not going to force anything with anyone. And I think when she was saying it, it made me feel like, okay, there's really no real genuine development of a solid foundation before people are engaging in relations or engaging in boyfriend, girlfriend / quote unquote wife behavior, wife, husband behaviors. It just doesn't make sense. No one should be able to come into your life one day and then the very next week or two be your every and all. That is insane. That is ridiculous. What were you doing with your life beforehand? Do you not work? Do you not have hobbies? Do you not have family? Do you not have other friends that you engage with? It should be nothing for you guys to meet and say we're mutually interested in each other and then arrange a time to talk, arrange a time to meet up. And then until that time that you meet up, you are free to do your own thing in your life. You're not required to be at their beck and call. And no, let's please not normalize this. This is insane. That is not real life. Like, I don't get it. If you guys have great chemistry after you first meet up, then naturally things will start picking up as far as you wanting to talk to each other. But let's get to that point first. Let's not assume that just because you're interested in me and I think I want to give you the chance to see who you are, that I automatically am smitten to the point where I don't do anything else but acquiesce to your every whim and demand via text. Even via phone call. If you call too much, something wrong. Like, the codependency is so prevalent out here. Y'all just going with it and thinking this is normal. Like, everyone should be operating like this. No. Because if you call me too many times, I'm hanging up, okay? I'm blocking, I'm deleting, and I'm letting you move to the next person that's on your same wavelength, because that's not me, okay? So let's get to the point in our lives where we can just be a little bit more understanding of how everybody's comfort level is when it comes to communication, and not just assume everybody's operating in that manner, because that's not healthy. It's not healthy, guys. That really disturbed me, and I really wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys, because if that's how dating is in 2023, I'm going to continue to opt out and do me. Okay? But let me go, so I'll talk to you guys in another video. Bye.